everybody, it's Wednesday evening, June 17th, and when I got off work today, I was thinking like what video should I do next? And it hit me very, very quickly. It was a no-brainer, in fact, and for those of you that know Jesse and me and understand the world that we're in, the profession that we're in, the business that we created back in 2017, you know that we're police officers. Right now, that's our full-time job, both of us. And so we are observing, we are very much a part of everything that's happening right now, everything that's unfolding nationally. And so while we started this company in 2017, and our tagline, if you will, for our business is that we cultivate mental wellness to maximize human capital, that's you, the individual, and promote safety. And what we believe is that if we can address an individual on an individual level and address their individual needs and get them to see things through a different lens, gain new perspective, maybe start to heal or process some things that they've been dealing with, then ultimately you're going to help the entire team, the entire corporation, the entire industry, the entire profession, whatever it is. And I've seen this. We've seen this. We've been doing this for long enough in law enforcement, with first responders, with private sector, with the public sector, with different companies, different sizes. We know if we focus on the individual level and we cultivate their mental wellness and we create buy-in, that's the harder part. If we can get leadership and people in positions of authority to adopt policies and have a supportive culture, we know we can influence change. But that's not what I want to talk about in this video. What I want to talk about in this video is, from a first responder role, address very briefly everything that's going on. And I want to let you know that I am genuinely concerned. So as somebody who has been dealing with officer specific wellness for the last several years, I've been on a mental health unit now for almost 11 years. For those 11 years, I've served thousands and thousands of people. But internally, within the agency, I have served more officers than I can count, and their family members, and firefighters, and EMS, paramedics. It does not matter. Part of my role, part of my function has been serving first responders, meeting them where they are. I am very aware that last year, thank you to bluehelp.org and the great efforts that they do, in my opinion, underreported, because again, they only get data that's given to them. But the underreported data was that there was 228 completed suicides in 2019 from police officers. 228 completed suicides. I am terrified that with everything going on, from COVID and the pandemic and what that did to the first responder role, to now everything that's been happening since the killing of George Floyd, which absolutely is terribly, terribly wrong. I've yet to meet one police officer that did not have a strong problem or issue with what they saw. And so we are united in understanding that what happened that day was terribly wrong. The fallout that has happened since is the part that is just so overwhelming to deal with. And here's my fear of officers. And I know that, certain people are going to see this and they're going to say, well, who cares? It's about time, this or that. And we're so divided right now. But my message is for you. If you are a human being wearing the uniform, serving the people, I know a vast majority of you are in this profession for absolutely the right reasons, and that you do things with your whole heart and your whole mind, and you would lay your life down for a complete stranger at any given moment, and you believe in what it means to serve and to protect. And yes, things have gone terribly wrong in many, many situations in the history of this country and the history of this profession. I am not trying to minimize anything that has happened or any experience that anybody has had with a negative reaction in law enforcement. Again, remember, I work in mental health. I am very, very aware that adults in this country living with a mental illness have had a negative experience at some point with law enforcement. That's my personal opinion, because law enforcement officers were not adequately trained how to deal with it. They're still not. Some agencies are far ahead of others, and some still to this day do not have any training at all of dealing with people in a mental health crisis. It's absolutely unbelievable to me. But when I speak specific to the first responders and my concern for your own mental wellness, your mental health, your mental well-being, I imagine on some level you're feeling certain things, right? Like you're feeling stress, maybe anger, frustration, fear, maybe uncertainty, maybe you're worried, maybe you're finding yourself anxious, maybe you're depressed. As you look at these emotions, as you tap into these and you start doing a body scan and looking within yourself and realizing like, which one of these am I feeling? Because I would imagine most everybody falls somewhere in one of these categories. I need you to know that the best advice I have for anybody who's in crisis, but I just real quick, I teach a wellness and resiliency class at our training academy for officers as part of the in-service training. And it was a class that I created for first responders specific. And it was going so well. And I was getting so many officers coming up to me afterwards, asking to get involved in services, telling me that they were dealing with addiction, telling me that they were struggling, and I would get them the help they needed. But then COVID happened and they shut down all the training. And so for months, we haven't been doing any training at all. And so yesterday was my first day back. And I cannot tell you the feeling that I had when I was done teaching this class. It's the last class of the day. And I had a 30-year officer come up to me that I've never spoken to before in my life. Don't even know his name still. And he came up to me and he said, "Joe, I want to thank you for what you just did. These last 90 minutes has taken my entire life and my entire 30-year career of law enforcement. And it made it all make sense to me. I finally can understand why I was feeling what I was feeling, why I've been dealing with the things I've been dealing with. And I have hope of how I can move forward." It is so important that we focus energy and effort on our individual well-being. We need it now more than ever. You are not alone. There's no way that anything anybody is experiencing is unlike something that someone else hasn't experienced at some time before. So have faith. Back to the advice I was going to give. Short of teaching the entire class on here and hoping it hits people, I think that there's a certain energy to doing things in person, face to face. Me talking to a camera is weird. It's wonky. I don't have that type of, I can't connect with a human being through a camera lens. It's very, very difficult to do. But here's what I would say. Zoom out. Take your problem, take your circumstance, take your life, take your family, take whatever it is that you have, and zoom out. Think of it through the lens of an astronaut in space, in orbit, at the International Space Station, looking down at this big blue marble and only seeing the beauty that exists. It's only when we get down to the individual nuanced level where we have so much war, and it starts within ourselves. It starts up here, it starts in here, and we struggle with not knowing how to deal with these situations, not knowing how to think or process or handle these situations. And so we become frustrated, we become angry, we become mad, we become spiteful, we start to allow hate to fester within us, and that all gets projected out onto the people around us. And that's not fair to them. So for those of you that do this job, you know that things have happened to you in your career that are not fair. We've been called names. We've been hit. We've been slapped. We've been spit on. We've been called terrible things. We've had threats on our life. And we know that we have to rise above it every single time. Do not let this be any different. Do not let this situation get the best of you. Zoom out. Accept the fact that this is going to pass. I have hope. We are going to change things. Things are going to improve for the better, I assure you. Yes, it has been a terrible history if you look at the world from that lens. And to be oppressed and the injustice that exists and the inequality that exists is all very real. I fully get, trust me, I know I am a white man with white privilege, and I am in a position of power, and with power comes a great responsibility, and with responsibility and power also comes an incredible amount of exposure. And so I get that. I'm putting myself out there for ridicule, for the negativity, for whatever, and that's okay. Because I assure you that just like you, I am made up of the same parts. I'm a human being with a heart, with a mind, with a soul, and with a hope that things are going to get better. And with a belief that we're going to get better together, that we are stronger together, and there's no way that we're going to fix any problem at the source of the problem. And there's no way that we're going to fix any problem from an emotional state. Remember, your emotions are the language of your subconscious. They're communicating to you. If you're feeling emotional, good. It's valid. If you're angry, that's okay. Be angry. It's valid. If you're scared, it's valid. It doesn't matter what emotion you're feeling, but just understand that your emotions are the language of your subconscious and it's communicating something to you. So join me. Have hope. Never stop believing that we will find a way. We will get through this. We will learn from this. And ultimately, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. You just have to believe in it. You have to believe in it. Don't forget to subscribe. For all my fellow humans in the uniform out there, thank you for what you do. I believe that we have a very bright future. And I also believe that there's incredible changes coming our way that are long overdue. If we want to gain the trust of the community, we have to invite the community into our world. There has to be integration. Thank you.